Hello friends, happy Monday. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Jill. I am a writer, artist, and entrepreneur, and I've been working on reinventing my creative business since January. So in today's video, I am actually starting what's going to be a video series. I will be crafting it as a playlist that goes on over the course of the next couple of months, called How to Publish a Book on Your Own, also known as self-publishing. So I have so far authored 2 books for my series, Peanut Butter and Jelly Sandwich. The first one is Jelly Bracelets and Peanut Shells. This one came out in 2024. And then last year I self-published A Tale of Two Kitties and Fluffy. These are both available on my website, peanutbutterandjellysandwich.com, and you can buy them on Amazon or Barnes & Noble. So anyway, right now I am working on the 3rd book in my series, which is going to be called Peanut and Miss Perfect. And so for today's video, I want to take you through the steps that I've already done for this project because I want to do the rest of it in real time as I move forward on getting this book out into the world. So I do have a nerdy little cheat sheet of notes that I made for myself so that I don't accidentally skip anything that I wanted to talk about in this video. So obviously, first and foremost, the number one thing that you have to do if you want to publish a book is to write it. So I have here a very old Windows Surface PC. I wrote the entire manuscript for my 3rd book on this piece of equipment from, I don't know, 2013 or 14. It was actually issued to me by work and I was allowed to keep it when I left my old job. So I wrote my book in installments, mostly at home or at my favorite coffee shop, which if you've been following my video series, coffee shop's now closed. So anyway, that was the first step. I based this story on one that I wrote in high school about a character named Brownie. She's a bunny, a brown bunny, who is a perfectionist, and she draws the attention of Peanut, the series title character, who's a cat. And Peanut sort of gains an interest in Brownie because they're sort of in circumstances that put them together at school and at their dance classes. And as the narrator, Peanut ultimately goes from being annoyed by Brownie to becoming her friend. I don't want to get too much into the plot of the book in this video. I will say that I augmented it quite a bit from the original version. I fleshed it out a lot. It's a much longer story than the original. And I also don't want to get too deep into writing process because I feel like that could be its own topic for another day. But for the most part, I don't use too much outlining or guidance for myself. I think I had like a 1-pager where I just marked like the major plot notes that I wanted to hit. But I typically write in a fashion that's called pantsing. I know that sounds weird. I didn't know that was a term until I went to the Society of Children's Book Writers and Illustrators conference last January, and people were talking about pantsing their novels. And it basically means like writing without much of an outline. You're just writing it all in one shot as you're moving forward. You're not thinking too much about the process as you're in it. Other people like to do a lot more planning. So basically people were asking, do you plan or pants your writing? And I was like, I guess I'm a pantser. Go figure. So anyway, like I said, I didn't put too much pressure on myself as far as organizing the writing because, thankfully for me, my brain works in a pretty linear fashion. So basically, I took my raw manuscript and then took it to my developmental editor. So writing is step 1, editing is step 2. I have sought the professional help of my editor for all 3 of my books thus far. She's independent of any major publishing company, and I found her through a personal friend of mine who published a nonfiction book the year before I published my first fiction book. Anyway, my editor suggested some minor modifications. Thankfully, this particular manuscript did not need a lot of retooling, so I took care of the changes, sent it back to her, and she pretty much said, all right, you're good to go. That was last fall, so if you've been following along, you know I took a pretty significant break from my creative work for several months just because I had to deal with other things in my life, so the manuscript just kind of sat this whole time. And the next step that I need to take care of is actually proofreading. So for the first book in my series, I sought the help of a professional proofreader who I was connected to through my editor. And I honestly just wasn't really pleased with the work. I felt like honestly, like I'd kind of wasted my money on it. I felt much more comfortable with my second book, just handing it over to my mother and my aunt because they're both retired school teachers. So I asked them to proofread, and I proofread myself because I was actually, not to brag or anything, I was very good in English when I was in school. So I kind of trusted that the three of us could accomplish this without me having to shell out hundreds of dollars and then not be happy with the work. So I don't necessarily know if I'd recommend that course of action, especially if you don't have full confidence in your own proofreading ability. Definitely go and seek the help of a proofreader when you get to this phase of things in writing a book. So anyway, that's going to be in progress. And while the proofreading is going on, I have already decided what to illustrate from the book. This is a spreadsheet, a tiny print spreadsheet, but this is my list of all the captions from the book that I extricated to create illustrations for. So that's what's going to be highlighted on my channel for the next couple months. I'm going to be doing a lot of Draw With Me videos, sharing that process with you guys. And so illustrations are ongoing, and that pretty much catches me up to where I am in my process as far as self-publishing. So some of the things that I'll be featuring in the future on this channel are obtaining a copyright, obtaining an ISBN number, obtaining a barcode, obtaining a Library of Congress number, putting together a book cover, doing the layout design, which is my favorite part of the process. It's very intricate and takes a lot of time, but I just love digging into Adobe InDesign with my book and putting all the pieces together. It's just such a fun thing for me. And then of course we get into social media updates, marketing, uploading the book into Amazon and Ingram Spark. And I might plan some sort of a book launch event this year. I didn't do a launch for my previous two books, so if I have the time and resources, I might try to do that this year. And like I said, I'll be sharing the entire process in real time. And I think that's pretty much it. Oh, and if you haven't seen it before, this is my official illustration sketchbook. I'll just show you real quick a couple of the illustrations in case you haven't seen them so far. So here's two characters that have to be added to the character guide. Every book I have has a character guide. And then I have some illustrations for the first chapter. So there's 4 illustrations so far for the first chapter. And I think at this point I'm ready to move on to chapter 2. So this one was featured incomplete in a Draw With Me. And I think this one was featured in my last day at the coffee shop video. So yeah, that's where I'm at. And that's pretty much me catching you guys up to where I'm at in my process, and we'll move forward together. Thanks for sticking around, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.